plastic. They have fake parts, but my heart's elastic. My mental so spastic, like I'm driving against that traffic.
Welcome back to my channel. It's Kelly Queen, and this video is for you new people. A lot of people I noticed subscribed to my channel in the last couple of months, and I really appreciate that. I've been posting for I think like 2 years on this channel, but in the last couple of months over the summer, my channel has like grown in size. So thank you so much for that. But I feel like a lot of you guys don't know who I am, so I would like to introduce myself to you guys. I'm Kelly Queen. So because of that, I just decided that I'm gonna do my life story in a video, and then people can like go back and look. And I feel like a lot of you guys who have been with me for a while have never seen me sit down and just like talk about my life in chronological order, because I've never done that. And when I started this channel, I kind of just jumped right in, like you guys already knew me, and that's really not the case except for a couple of my friends who subscribed. But I never introduced myself, and I never really explained my life story in a way that kind of goes in order. I've shared a lot of my life on this channel, I would say, but I still feel like if I look at my channel like as an outsider's perspective, I would be like, I don't really know who this girl is. Like, I get like a little bit of an idea, but it's kind of hard to tell. So that's what this video is for. Stay tuned. I feel like whenever I tell my life story to people, alcohol is involved, and wish I had something stronger, but this is gonna have to do. So see one, chug one. Not my favorite flavor. I think I like lime the best, actually, which is really surprising because I feel like people sleep on lime. And I like raspberry and grapefruit. Those are my like top 3. Alright, y'all. Hopefully you guys are good. You have some alcohol in your system and you're ready to hear my life story. And if not, pause this video, get a claw, get a beer, get a glass of wine, take a shot. You know the deal. Okay, so I just chugged that, obviously. I'm not just gonna sit here and not drink anything. So I also have a Mike's Hard. I never drink these. My neighbors moved out though, and they gave us all their shit. They literally have the taste of a freshman girl. I love it. So yeah, welcome back to my YouTube. I already said that. This is my life story. So this is how Kelly Queen came to be. So I was born in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and that's where I live right now. And you probably are thinking like, I don't know anyone from North Dakota. Well, now you know me. So there's that. And I grew up here. I went to school here, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I have, I'm trying to get to the side again. I have 3 brothers. So I have an older brother named Ryan, and he is a teacher. And then and he lives in Grand Forks. And I have a younger brother. Oh, my older brother is 2 years older than me. So when I was born, clearly he was here, thriving, you know. And then I have a brother named Casey, and he is a streamer actually on Twitch. His name is The King Live, I think. Yeah. So I have a brother who's 2 years younger than me, and then I have a brother who is 4 years younger than me. And I remember a little bit before, oh, I should lower my voice because when I drink I tend to get like really loud and my family's here, so if you hear any like noises, that's them. But yeah, I have 3 brothers, and then I remember a little bit before Sean, my youngest brother, was born, but I don't remember anything else. Like, I don't really remember before Casey was born. I don't remember anything because I was like 2, you know, when he was born. So I never remember anything besides being a middle child, being a sister, you know. So yeah, that's kind of my life. Growing up, my younger brothers were really close. Casey and Sean were like best friends, and then I would hang out with them sometimes. I wasn't really close to my older brother, but you know, he's in my life. We shared a room at one point, and then I also shared a room with my younger brothers at a point, but we didn't all like share a bedroom. My parents are both teachers, so we were kind of like middle class. You know, my dad actually teaches psychology at the University of North Dakota, and I remember as a kid they would have parties at the house with faculty and like potential graduate students and graduate students. They would like throw parties, and I remember that was a part of my childhood because it would happen like at least once or twice a year, and I remember collecting all like the bottle caps like this from their drinks. But they were appropriate, like it wasn't crazy, you know, it was just them having fun. I don't feel like I was like corrupted or anything, but I remember being around a lot of adults when I was younger, and I think that's what made me kind of like an old soul, so to speak. And then I went to kindergarten, and I made my best friend Beth. And if you realize I said I have 3 brothers, I don't have any sisters, so Beth kind of became like a sister to me, and we were like really close all the way through elementary school. And then in 4th grade she moved away, and I was so sad, guys. I was so sad, and I feel like that experience kind of made me value friendships in my life, and I love to keep in contact with people if I can, even if they move away, you know, just like make time to talk on the phone every now and then, and I should do that more with that for sure. But we're still friends to this day, even though she moved away in 4th grade. We kept in touch, which is, I think, really awesome. And then I had a couple other friends, but she was my best friend. We would do crazy shit together. One time we tried to convince the whole entire class that the aliens were like coming to visit our classroom, and we told everybody in the class to wear green in honor of their arrival, just to, you know, like really welcome them in. We would do weird shit like that. We did dance together. We did taekwondo together, which is really crazy. I got all the way up to purple belt or blue belt. I don't remember which one is further on, but one of those. And it wasn't that I was like really good at it. It's just like you kind of go on your own pace in taekwondo. So if any of you guys have kids out there, I would recommend it because it teaches children like discipline. It's not like the best exercise, like if you really want like a lot of cardio or something like that where they're like constantly moving, but it's exercise, you know, like we ran laps and shit like that, and you're moving, but really it teaches you guys good values and stuff like that. So I'm glad I did it. It was a good experience, even though I didn't go all the way. I went until I was in 6th grade. So, yeah, and then I just quit. I don't know. I think I quit because I wanted to do dance, to be honest, because I did dance, then I did taekwondo. I quit dance to do taekwondo. I did both of them for a little bit, and then I quit taekwondo to do dance. So, I'm not a good dancer, to be honest, but I'm actually thinking about starting taking classes again, just for exercise and for fun, because Lord knows I don't do enough of either of those. So cheers. So yeah, yeah, I was a very shy kid, I will say that. Extremely shy, and to be honest, I don't feel like I found my voice until college. I was so shy. And that's why I didn't have very many friends. It's not that I didn't want to hang out with people or I was antisocial. I wouldn't say I was antisocial. I was just shy and anxious. Um, yeah, and a lot of times people will be like seen as like a loner because they like hate everybody or whatever. That wasn't really the case with me. I was just shy. Um, and that was something that was really, really hard for me growing up because I felt like this is like therapy. I felt like I could be myself. And myself is basically the person you see right now. You know, just like talking to you, chill, gonna make some jokes here and there, you know. Around my friends, which would be like a handful of people. And then I felt like around everybody else, my classmates and like people at dance or something like that, I wouldn't say a word. I was so awkward. And that was bad for my self-esteem because like part of me knew I was like funny and fun and stuff like that, and part of me knew that I could be a good friend and a good person to talk to and a good conversationalist too, which is something I've learned. I'm actually good at talking to people. But the shyness and the like social anxiety would get in the way of that. So at a young age, like middle school, high school, I felt like I wasn't like living my best life. And that is a weird struggle to have when you're that young, because it's just like, what does that even mean, you know? Because I felt like I had so much potential to like be a good friend or whatever, or be the talkative girl or the popular girl or any of that bullshit, right? I felt like, oh, I would be good at that, but my anxiety, you know? So it sucked. Like, I don't know. I was also the kid who would like say the joke quietly, and then one of the popular kids would hear it, and then they would repeat it, and then everyone's like, she's so funny. But it was really my joke, you know? It was like kind of that situation. But here's the problem. Drinks. The problem is that in school, I didn't fit in. So, when people say they like don't fit in, that means any of the groups. And there's like a loner group or like a, I don't want to say like weird person group, like weirdos. But you guys know who I'm talking about, like the misfits in high school. I didn't fit in with them either. Like you guys, I'm not complaining because like, oh, poor me. Like looking back, it's kind of, it makes sense. Like it's just like a part of my life. Like it is what it is. I'm not like complaining about it. I'm just trying to like help you guys understand. There was definitely like a misfits group and they didn't want me either. So yeah, because they saw me as somebody who was like normal, like more normal. Because I would dress with the trends, you know, like I would present myself. That's such a hot phrase to say, but I would present myself as somebody who was like with the trends, had the newest, like not newest, but like had an iPod Touch. That was a huge thing. Had the cute shoes, you know, like whatever was popular. Like I would get on it just because that's how I like to dress. And then I had my own personal style as well. Yeah, so I would be wearing all the brands, you know, and having all the accessories, but I didn't fit in with like the cool kids and popular kids or just the normal kids. But then the kids who were misfits saw me like I was one of them, and I feel like one of them, those people, saw me like I was a misfit, and like no one was claiming me. Yeah, because I remember I would try and do things that those kids would do. So, things like drama and debate and stuff like that. Well, I only went to debate for one day. Not for me. But I would try and like join shit like that. Yearbook journalism, like all that. and I didn't fit in there either. Like, nobody wanted to talk to me because I didn't know about anime, or I didn't know hipster bands, or, you know, stuff like that. So I think I spent my whole entire 4 years of high school trying to find my place, and I, like, never did. And then I graduated. Yeah. Nobody ever bullied me. Well, people, it was rare if they did try me, but I feel like, I don't know. To be honest, I think, I don't know why people didn't make fun of me, because that's so common in middle school and high school. If they did, they probably just did it behind my back, to be honest, but I never really heard about that, you know, if people were saying mean things about me, I never heard about it. The only time I think I was, like, bullied was by someone who was actually supposed to be my best friend. She was the meanest to me, out of everybody. She would say stuff, especially about my eyebrows, which is really funny. It was a thing to have really thin eyebrows, back in the day, and so she would make fun about those. She would make fun about my personality, and yeah, pretty much that. Those are the, like, two things she would pick on me the most about, and I didn't really like that. Right now my eyebrows are in, like, an awkward stage. I am still insecure about my eyebrows, to be honest. I feel like I pluck them too much, and then it's just, like, an issue, and then I try and fill them in and they don't look good. But that's always been an issue for me. And obviously, well, not obviously, fuck obviously, but I was insecure about my body too, and my size. The reason why I'm not gonna say obviously is because there's a misconception that people who are, like, plus size or bigger, or just even, like, curvy or whatever, are insecure about their weight. Like, everybody is, but that's not the truth, to be honest. There's some people who are big and they love it, that's their life, but I was pretty insecure just because I was around a lot of people who were, like, twigs. And when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade a little bit, I was really insecure, and I ended up starving myself a lot, and like, over exercising, which I think people are starting to talk about it now, but back then nobody talked about it. So what I mean when I say that is, I remember my mom works at a theater, so she had, like, a reception there, and there's, like, cookies and cakes and stuff, and I remember I had eaten a cookie, and I went to the bathroom away from everybody else, and I did, like, 100 jumping jacks, like, in the bathroom, just because I ate a cookie and I wanted to burn it off, you know. So it was, like, shit like that, but I don't do that anymore. And I feel like that's something I've moved on with in my life. I've learned to accept how I am, and I have been at high weights, I've been at low weights, like, been in between, and I just kind of learned, my mindset now is that your body will look a certain way for a little bit, but it can fluctuate, you know. In a year you could look completely different, and then in a year from there you could look different, and I've just kind of, like, learned to just accept it. Like, this is what my body's like right now, and if I don't like it, I can change it. And I know that because I have changed it before. Like, last year I dropped, like, 30 pounds, and then I ended up gaining 10 back, and now I'm trying to lose it again, you know. Like, it's just, like, a cycle, you know. But I've learned, yeah, that's, like, my main thing is, like, this is how I look right now, but I can change it. So cheers to changing your body. And I never really had counseling for that. That's just something I had to like learn on my own, but I feel like I've learned it through different role models that I have in my life, like celebrities. Like I like to look at TV and like see like, oh, who looks like me, you know. And on Instagram I follow a lot of plus size models, and I look at their body. I look at girls who are really fit, not like super fit, but like, I don't know how to explain it. I like to look at girls who like seem like they have my body type, but they like are in the gym 24/7, and so they're like toned. That's like really weird to explain. So it's like yours, but it's not. It's like mine if I was toned. And I like to look at that because I'm like, okay, that is a goal that I can reach, you know, because it's genetics too. But yeah, that was kind of like my journey of confidence, I guess. And when I was in sophomore year of high school is when I hit an all-time low, because I was really depressed and I really didn't have very many friends at all. I had dropped that one girl who was kind of bullying me, and she tried to turn people against me, it sucked. But I made some new friends, but a lot of them switched schools. So our friend group was like totally different after freshman year. Freshman year was fine because I had friends, but then sophomore year I didn't really have anybody. Really low, really depressed, and I thought about suicide a lot actually sophomore year. And people will discredit kids and say, you know, they're just kids, like they'll get over it, they're moody teenagers or whatever. But when you're that young, you do feel, and you feel deep things, you know. And I hate when adults say stuff like they don't know what they're talking about, they're just a kid, because you know, they're people, they're living their lives, you know, and they feel what they feel. So that's why I would never like discredit kids if they say, hey, I'm depressed, you know. I'll be like, well, what can we do to fix it, you know? That's like if I have kids, which I want to, just not right now. But yeah, so that's the tea on that. And I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. My parents they're good, but they don't totally, I don't think, understand mental illness or like my depression. So their solution was to switch schools for me. So I ended up switching schools sophomore year in like October actually. So it was pretty much the beginning of the year. It wasn't quite the middle. I went to private school, which was a lot smaller, and it was good and bad because I did get to know people a little bit better. It was bad because I still felt like an outsider, and there's like no other new kids in my class, so I was basically the new kid for like 3 whole years because everyone was there since they were in pre-K. So then I come in 10th grade, so it's like relatively new at least for 3 whole years, and everyone's like, who's that, you know, like people are nosy as fuck. I didn't date, I didn't do anything really in high school, besides this one guy, but, and there's another guy, there's like 2 guys, but nothing too serious. I thought I was like in love, but it's bullshit. And that's all I'll say about that. I liked to do art. Art was my favorite class. And then my senior year, I started to spiral, I would say that, because I was really stressed out about college. I didn't really want to go, but I wanted to get out of town because I hated the town I grew up in. But I didn't have the best grades, and I didn't have any money, and I didn't know what to do. So those feelings I had been feeling freshman, sophomore year kind of resurfaced a little bit, and art was my favorite class, but my art teacher wasn't helping because she knew something was like off with me. She probably was concerned, but the way she went about it I really didn't like, and I felt like I was being gaslighted. Yeah, so I basically had trusted her enough to like kind of tell her some things about my life. At that point I was like starting a new anxiety medication, and it was not working for me. It was making me worse. And because I had told her that I was like taking medication and stuff, she didn't understand. She thought I was like either abusing it or not taking it because of how I was acting. I was still very anxious, probably saying things that were not appropriate. But she took the information I had given her and she told my school counselor, and the next thing I know I'm called in there. So that was not fun. And then I spent the rest of the year, I think, like hating her and like all that. So that was a great way to go out. I was so mad. And clearly, like, the past is the past, whatever. I'm still bitter about this. So there is a art show that would happen at my school every single year, and I worked really hard in art. Like, I loved it. It was my shit. And we had a very small class. There was only 4 people in my class, including me, and 3 of the kids got their art in the art show, and I was the only person who didn't. And I never had my art in the art show before, like the first 2 years I was there, and then the last year I worked really hard so I could get it in the art show, and she wouldn't let me be in it, and I feel like she was punishing me by not letting me be in the art show because I did some good shit and she wouldn't let it be in there. And because I wasn't in the art show, I had to help set up. So I had to set up all this art for the art show, and I wasn't in it, and I was so mad, like putting up other people's shit, and I didn't get my own shit in there, and I just like kind of lost respect, to be honest, because it was like a big deal to be like a senior, and you're supposed to have like your senior showcase, and I didn't get to do that. And I just like needed a win, you know, at that point in my life. Like, I'm really anxious and upset and really not having a lot to live for at that point, and I skipped so much school. I shouldn't have even been allowed to graduate, to be honest, but my grades were like okay, to the point where they didn't like drop me or hold me back or whatever. I think they just wanted to get rid of me, and that was the only reason I would go to school. Like, I would go to, like, art was every other day. I'd go to school on an art day and not go the next day because I didn't have art, you know? So that was really something that I remember. And what do I learn from this situation? Because I always, like, try and learn from the situation. Is basically, to be honest, sometimes you gotta keep a low profile when you're going through it, you know? Because sometimes people are just not going to understand, and they're going to hold it against you. So that's kind of what I learned from this situation. But yeah. And then I kind of cheered up towards the end of the year, besides that situation, because I was in the play. I was the aunt in, I don't remember what Little Women. But that was the only play I did at school, and I stole the show. Everyone was like coming up to me, so that kind of like boosted my ego. And I went to prom and like all that. I was working at the nursing home too at the time, so I had work, you know, to focus on. So I think I ended on an okay note, but I still hated school. Senior year was probably one of my worst, and sophomore year I like skipped, but yeah. But I did decide to go to MSU, Minnesota State University, Mankato, because it was 6 hours away from my hometown. I thought that was the perfect amount of distance. I was driving, I had gotten my license, and I had a car, so I could just drive there, forget all about my hometown, and all like the shady people, and just live my life, recreate myself, and make some new friends. So that's what I ended up doing, and I really liked it. My freshman year, I had a roommate who I did not get along with at all, and it was just a lot of like catty freshman year bullshit, to be honest. I had accidentally used one of her towels and got makeup on it because I wear a lot of makeup, and she got so mad at me, and that was basically the problem, which is so stupid to look back on. And yeah, and then the suite mates didn't like me either, which sucked. You guys are gonna think nobody likes me and there's like something wrong with me, but it was honestly just these people, to be honest. And I remember one time I was at a football game and my suite mates came over to like sit with me because they had nobody else to sit with, and I was with a group of people. And then after the game, it was time to like walk back to the dorms, and they crossed the street so they didn't have to walk with me, even though when I was like with people, they wouldn't act like we know each other, you know, to just make themselves seem like they're less loners. And there's nothing wrong with being loners, there's nothing wrong with just hanging out with one friend or two friends, you know, but they wanted to seem like they were part of like my group. And then when I was being nice, to be honest, and like trying to talk to them and stuff, they like crossed the street so they didn't have to like walk with me. It was so stupid. And that was kind of like my freshman like first semester. But then the first week of school, freshman year, I noticed Elena, and you guys have probably seen Elena in my videos or me talk about her, or if this is the first video you've seen and you didn't know, but I mention her in all my videos because she's like a part of my life, you know. So I noticed her, like we had floor meetings and stuff, and she was just chill. So we had math class together, and it was a huge lecture hall, but I was just trying to make friends, you know. I'm from out of town, I don't know anybody, so I saw her, she was sitting in the back. I like to sit in the back, so I just, you know, walked up to her and I said, "Hey, I noticed you from Sears," which was our dorm, and I'm like, "Can I sit with you?" And that started a beautiful friendship. So honestly, my advice to anyone who's like nervous to meet friends or something like that is just walk up to people, just say hi and be nice, and like you'll meet people. Like it'll be cool. And it sounds like a love story. I just liked how she was funny. She would say like funny things to me. I remember, like, it was like a love story. I remember she said like after math class, she's like, "You can come hang out with me anytime." And then she said, "Just knock on my door. I'm like a hibernating bear." Because she like didn't like to like go out a whole lot. Low-key fam, where you at? But yeah, that's what she had said to me, and I just like laughed. And then I remember I was in the cafeteria, and this bitch comes up. There's like, you know how sometimes there's like windows but they're like inside? Well, I'm sitting in the cafeteria, you know, like just eating, like enjoying myself, and she like knocks on the window and just like waves at me. I'm just like, "This is my friend," you know, from math class. And then we just started hanging out 24/7, which is like insane. But if you guys have a best friend, like you understand, like other people may like look at you and be like, "Are they in love? Like, are they dating? Like, what's the tea?" But we're just best friends, and I feel like you have like a couple connections like in your lifetime that are gonna be like your best friend, you know, from like different parts of your life. Like Beth is my childhood best friend, and I still consider her a best friend, because she is. But Alina came into my life in college, and she's my other best friend, like my college best friend, you know. So yeah, if you're lucky enough to have that. I know a lot of people don't, which is sad. Like, you guys are missing out. But yeah, she's my best friend. So the year after that, we lived together in an apartment building. Oh, I moved into her dorm the second semester of freshman year. We both didn't like our roommates, so long story short, we got rid of him. So we moved in together. It was the best semester ever. Like, we had so much fun. We were up so many nights just like laughing and giggling and talking about life and everything. And it was just a good time. We didn't have any drama with us. I wasn't dating anybody. She had a boyfriend, but he didn't live in Mankato. So we were basically just like single girls, kind of. But we literally didn't do anything, to be honest. Like, we didn't drink. Like, we were just having a good old time, like, in our honeymoon of our friendship. And then sophomore year, shit changed, because we were off campus. So, well, I could only speak for myself because I don't want to get her, like, in trouble or anything, but Kelly was a little wild sophomore and junior year. I drank a lot and started dating a lot. I was on Tinder like all the time. I don't think it was the best. I got really lucky a lot of times. I literally should have been murdered. I remember like walking in the cold drunk to like go to a booty call. Like, it was not cute. Not cute. And just like meeting up with people. Stupid. Or like having people over at my apartment I didn't know. Stupid. I had a couple of boyfriends, but not really. That's like my life. But my first college boyfriend was this kid named Abdul. Shout out, sorry I ghosted you. I just don't think we were compatible, to be honest, but he was cool and nice. And then everyone after that kind of sucked, to be honest. Yeah, you can look at my story, like, I was accidentally a side hoe. My ex-boyfriend tried to get me pregnant, like, all that shit. It was bad. And I fell back into that depression hole. I was super anxious all the time too, and I started abusing Xanax a little bit, and I knew something wasn't right. So when I was 21, I went to student health, and I like told him about all my issues, like how I keep getting this depression coming back, you know. And they did some tests and stuff and just like assessments and talking to me a lot, and I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 21. So that's kind of what happened with that. And since then I've tried different medications and stuff. None of it really works, to be honest, sadly. Yeah, I'm clean from Xanax now. I don't do it anymore, because it was just fucking with me, and it was getting to a point where I was definitely dependent on it, and I didn't like that, and it was messing with my memory. Like, I have a shitty memory, so yeah, now I'm just like off my medication, off my rocker, having a good old time, but that's the truth, to be honest. And I've had struggles with it a lot recently, and a lot on and off just throughout my life. But yeah, and then I found out, my doctor had told me that's why when I was a senior in high school, why my anxiety medication made me a lot worse is because my brain's different. And so just giving me like an anxiety medication, like Xanax is different because that like just knocks you the fuck out, like your brain out. Like, you're not gonna fall asleep or anything. Well, you could fall asleep. I fell asleep in some weird places. But it just kind of like makes you super numb, and it's a different kind of drug. But the common anxiety medications they'll put you on, which are called SSRIs, are not good for people with bipolar because the brain is just different, is what they explained to me. So that's why when I was in high school it made me worse, and that's why I had all my issues, and I'm just like, damn, I wish I would have knew that then, you know. But it's all good, like everything in hindsight. And I just remember the fall semester I did pretty good. This is junior year. And then in the spring semester I was just over it and I dropped out. So I've been out of school pretty much since then, and I moved back to Grand Forks, and I do regret it. I wish I would have stuck it out, but your mental health is worth more than a degree. Like, listen to me. That's the truth. And if you feel like you're not thriving and you feel depressed, like, it's not worth it, you know? So that's kind of why I ended up dropping out. And then I did some online classes on and off, but it wasn't really my thing. I do like an in-person class, and if I can't have an in-person class, I just rather not do it at all, because I like to talk to real people, and that's how I learn the best. So I came back here and I started working for a restaurant, and I was shift leader, and it was good. It was fine. I liked working there. I made good money. I was living at my own apartment, and then I decided I need to do a Disney internship. So I applied for the internship program at Disney, and I got in, and then I moved out to Florida. So I left. There's like a longer story time on my channel about this, but basically I sold my car. I moved all the way out there, and it didn't work out. I got really sick and I had to move back. So now I'm back here at the house I grew up in, at my parents' house. I have no job. I have no car, and I'm just trying to rebuild my life so that I can make some money and leave again. My goal right now is to just find a job that I can make like a stable income at, and save up money, get a car, and then move out. I want to move out west. I'm thinking Arizona at the moment. Just because I hate it here. I hate the weather, I hate the atmosphere, I hate everything. But I have like no savings at the moment, so I need to build them up first. So that's kind of like my life story in a nutshell. I skipped some parts. I skipped some bad parts. I skipped some good parts, you know. But that is the overview. I hope you guys keep watching, and I hope you guys see the rest of my life story unfold. But thanks for listening and watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.